Well, hello, Pittsburgh, and welcome back to the QBurgh Podcast. If you're a lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and yes, even an ally, then you will find this program not only to be informative, but entertaining as well. My name is Jeff Friedman, and we bring you this podcast from our lovely studio here in beautiful downtown Pittsburgh. On today's show, we have the incredible honor of hosting Lindsey Sickler, a passionate and long-standing activist for queer rights here in our area. Currently, they are the executive director at Proudhaven. Lindsey's tireless dedication to empowering LGBTQ youth is nothing short of inspiring. Join us as we dive into their remarkable journey and the impactful work Proudhaven is doing to create safe havens and brighter futures for our area's most vulnerable queer youth. So don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with Lindsey.
Hey, it's Nebby Nick. Today's podcast is brought to you by us, QBurgh. QBurgh is your source for LGBTQ news and events for Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania. You can find news, community calendar of events, and our directory, of course, our podcasts, and our weekly newsletters. QBurgh is and always will be free to the community. If you'd like to support us, you can do that at qburgh.com/support. And catch me, Nebby Nick, at any queer event month to month, and make sure to follow those queer events on our community calendar. Now back to the show.
And we're back here with Lindsey Sickler from Proudhaven. Lindsey, welcome to the QBurgh Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's so glad that you're here because as a longtime advocate here, I've always been in awe of you. And so thank you for all that you do for the community.
Thank you.
And especially in your current position here.
Yeah.
So, we all wear multiple hats here, right?
We do.
So, but right now, let's talk about Proudhaven, because I think that you guys are doing such great work there. So tell us a little bit about the history of Proudhaven,
Sure.
where it came from, and what's happening at Proudhaven.
Sure. So Proudhaven was established in 2013 by Deb Scotto and their child. It actually blossomed from a graduate school project that Deb did.
Okay.
And somebody had come up during the presentation and said, you know what, we really need youth-specific housing in Pittsburgh for queer kids. And then Deb and their child just started working on it.
Wow.
They did come around to me when they were first opening in 2013, but I was a little overwhelmed and I was like, come back next year. And they did exactly 12 months later.
Wow.
Came back and asked if I still wanted to participate. And of course I did. I've worked with kids and, well, goodness. It's been 28 years, I realized the other day, and that just freaks me out.
Yeah.
But
so tell us what prompted Deb to see this need? Where was her?
So, well, I can tell you from my own experience that, I was going to city county meetings with other homeless providers when I was working as the chair of the GLCC. And
the Gay and Lesbian Community Center.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying that there were no homeless youth in Pittsburgh, and I was just like, you should come on a Tuesday,
right?
Because they're definitely couch surfing, and they're, some of them, they're not necessarily street homeless, but they're definitely not secured. And I ended up talking to a lady from the Homeless Children's Education Fund,
mm-hmm.
and at the time, the GLCC was, volunteer run and operated, and all I had was space to give, but they had programming money.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So regardless, that's how we started serving the homeless LGBT youth and young adults, and that was 2011. And then Deb and their their child came and wanted to do something more organized, which is desperately needed.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only thing I was able to do at the time with my work with the GLCC and was to offer this space for drop-in for, a meal, to grab some clothes, things like that.
Right.
But their vision was to really have this safety network. And it did take us a long time. I joined the board in 2014. They established in 2013.
Okay.
I almost immediately became the housing liaison. So I was the person that people called and hey, we need something. Can you help? And what we were initially able to offer was 3 days of emergency shelter.
3 days.
3 days.
Only 3 days.
Correct. And that would be at a local hotel. So it was what we had to offer because we didn't have a space.
Right.
We tried for many years. We had many barriers that we had to overcome. But truly, it is in the spirit of community and collaboration that we were able to make this work. After 2019-ish, when I lost my previous position, Deb, I'm a workhorse. I have always worked all the time. And so when the panini came around, the panini. I don't want to invoke it. I wasn't quite sure what to do with myself. And Deb was like, well, once the vaccines come out, why don't you come and use Proud Haven for the youth groups you were doing? And I was like, cool. That's awesome.
Perfect.
And I was unemployed. And, so I got to be with my kids and hang out and serve people. And that was wonderful. And it was in that time, Dina Stanley from TransYouniting and I had already been collaborating. But I had just said to her, I was like, hey, it's not a big space, but if you need a meeting, yada, yada. And that conversation really catalyzed into being able to move into our very first 4-bed shelter.
Right.
Because it was through that collaboration that we were able to open the Your Haven collaborative shelter.
So let's talk about the very first Proud Haven.
Sure.
When you opened the doors of Proud Haven, where was that located?
So, to be honest with you, the previous office spaces weren't all that great, but the one that we had that we're now taking back,
the visible one,
yes,
right,
is at 517 East Ohio Street.
On the north side.
On the north side, yes.
On the north side.
Previous to that, there was a space in Lawrenceville that wasn't great. It served a purpose.
Yeah.
But previous to that, then we were just. We were a group that met at other organizations to, talk about what the needs were and get people, a Band-Aid.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So luckily through all of this,
yeah,
you actually grow. Now you're a 501c3.
Absolutely. Yep. Since 2013.
And where do you get your funding from?
So before, blows my mind. Before 2021, everything was absolutely volunteer funded.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
All of the supplies, all of the hotel rooms, all of that was paid for by donations from the community. We were able to secure a rather large grant, and that's what allowed us to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Act as a catalyst.
Yes, absolutely.
But you're always looking for donations.
Absolutely, always looking for donations.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of stuff going on.
Tell us a little bit about what else is happening. Well, since you opened up, your shelter has grown.
Yes, it absolutely has. It's kind of amazing. We went from a 4-bed shelter that was emergency only, which meant a day to a month, for specifically trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming folks, because it's an open floor plan, and that is the safest.
Yeah. And what age group were you looking at?
Initially 18 to 25, but to be honest with you, it got bumped to 30 because I was really, really sad to tell so many 26 and 27-year-olds no. And there were so many of them. So we were serving initially, just with the hotels, we were serving 10 to 15 people a month, and that's purely on donation. So we opened the dorm-style shelter at 517, and then after that, we opened Community, and Community's at 525 East Ohio Street, and that's our community center that we share with TransYouniting. And then
we've talked about the community center with Adina.
Yeah.
So
we're co-directors.
Correct.
Yes.
So you joined forces. Proud Haven and TransYouniting.
Correct. We run together. We're actually a very unique model. We think we're the only ones in the entire United States, because it does not belong to Proud Haven and it does not belong to TransYouniting. We split the bills, we split the programming, and it is truly our shared, better together movement.
Yeah. And community is spelled
QMNTY. And right. So if you're a Queen Latifah fan, just think of UNITY.
There you go.
That's
Right.
So that's actually where it came from. It was suggested by a community member, and I was like, man, that sounds like a song.
It was.
It was.
It was a song, right?
I'm a huge Queen Latifah fan. It just took me a second. So since then, regardless, we opened another 5-bed shelter, and that was for a step up.
Mm-hmm.
And so for our short-term folks that maybe weren't quite ready or needed a little more support, we had a short-term program, and that is Your Home, and that's 1 month to 3 months with an extension of up to 14 months depending on what folks need.
Really?
And we, again, just recently, because why not, opened another 5-bed.
Another one?
Yes, open floor plan shelter. So now what we've managed to get is 10 emergency beds, 5 for LGBTQ, 5 for trans folks, and then the short-term Your Home is for trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming folks.
Right.
And essentially, our goal is to help people get to their next step. It's a hand up, not a handout.
Correct.
I knew I was going to do that. So we want to make sure that our networks are tight, and it's not just about our collaboration either. We work with as many people as possible that align with our values and mores. So, we work with Allies, we work with True Tea, we work with Hugh Lane. Anybody that wants to do this good work for the community and gives a care about the LGBT youth, young adults, and the people who are struggling. Because, yes, we have the shelter and the community center. We're not just dealing with people who are street homeless or couch surfing or unstably housed in any way. We're dealing with people that are having food insecurity. We're dealing with people that don't have money to get clothes for their job interviews. We're dealing with folks that, basically anything you can think of. So with the community center and our partnership, we're open noon to 10, Monday through Friday. We have a caseworker on duty. We have an RA, 2 RAs actually, for both, one for each building. And we have a program manager. We have stuff going on every day of the week. And coming up, because even though we keep saying, maybe we'll take a pause, this is not what's happening. So we're opening up the community closet at 517. Right now we have it.
Okay, so let's take a second. Community closet.
Yes.
So tell us what that's all about.
Sure.
Because I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
So
no, it's totally fine. So I started the closet actually back at the GLCC. Forgive me, I don't remember what it was originally called.
Okay.
But when we came here, again, talking to Deb and talking to the people we were working with, it was like, people need this stuff. People are trying to donate to us. Let's make it happen.
Right.
And so initially at 517, it was the back hallway where we had
517 East Ohio Street.
Yes, that we had all the extra stuff. And then when we got to move to 525, what we did, there are so many shelves.
Right, there's a lot of
so
shelves
wonderful.
in the new place, right.
It was one of the things I really loved about the space. But now we have the hygiene products and the shelf-stable goods on the first floor, and the clothing on the second, or on the bottom, in the basement. But which is great, except it's not completely accessible. So that's where this thought came, because we're having a lot of conversations with the people in community about the lack of accessible spaces.
Correct.
So we were like, all right, let's do this.
Right.
So now everything we're opening on the 19th of February. By the way, in the next 3 days, if you have any time, we have a whole bunch of volunteer shifts coming up for people that can help set up the community closet. Very excited about that. It's going to have everything accessible and on one floor, the shelf-stable goods, the hygiene products, and the clothing. And it's hygiene products and self-care products for everybody. We're very cognizant of making sure that we have things for all skin and hair types.
Right. Well, I think that the one thing that I love about the community closet is that it offers gender-affirming clothing.
Absolutely. And
so that's the big thing to take away from
Yes.
this, is because with dealing with the trans community,
yes.
that there's not that accessibility to go in and get their own clothes.
No, not at
So-
all. One of the things we tell people sometimes, we get calls from folks who ask if they can dress when they're there, or, and not only we're like, yes, come in,
Right.
hang out. If you want to go check out the closet, wear what you'd like. If you'd like to take it with you, you can. If you just want to be here and be in your comfort zone, that's awesome. You're
Right.
welcome.
Right.
But a lot of times people will end up, they'll find something they really like, and it's always so lovely to see them brighten up.
Right. Well,
You
it
know?
empowers.
Yes.
It's so empowering
Yeah.
to be in the right clothes.
Yes,
Right.
yes. It's not just about clothes, though. It's about being seen. It's about being validated in your identity.
Correct.
And, clothes are wonderful, but it's also about being around people that see you as you are.
Right.
And don't try to force you into their perception or not of you.
Right.
So, we're really happy to provide that service. And this particular project is not actually funded by anything. It is all purely by the power of love and and by the power of love and determination. So we will be seeking funding for that, and of course donations are always welcome.
So you're always seeking volunteers.
Absolutely.
So especially for the closet.
Yes.
Coming in on a wing and a prayer here,
Yes,
right?
yes, we absolutely are coming in on a wing and a prayer. And all kinds of donations. Money is always nice. Gift cards are wonderful because that means we can give them to the clients and residents and community people that come in that need something specific that maybe we don't have.
Personal care products.
Things like that. And in addition, for those of you that don't know, the gender-affirming items like chest binders, wigs, chest forms, gaffs, the tucking underwear, those things can be very expensive.
Yes.
And they're not things, they're not necessarily things that once people use them, they're used.
Right.
So we can always use more of those.
Right.
And we have an Amazon list under community, and I believe there's a section for the closet, or if not, there will be, that has these specific items for wish list items.
Right.
Oftentimes what ends up happening is I'll get somebody that calls and says, hey, I need a binder. I've had mine for too long. It's too loose. I'm having gender dysphoria. I'm having discomfort. And so then I'll look at our little supply, and if I have something that fits them, great. And if I don't, I put a call out across my social networks and Proud Haven's social network to
get one.
To get one, yeah.
Nice that you have that connection.
And what's funny is that most people, I know most people were like, I totally get it. Where's your Amazon list? It's like, oh, okay.
Here it is.
Yeah.
So where can people find this list?
So we do have an Amazon list that is on our website. And also there were two blogs that
your website is?
www.proudhaven.org.
ORG.
Yep. And we just put out, we have a monthly newsletter. Tried to be twice a month, but I only got 2 hands.
Hey,
so,
right. Monthly's good.
So once a month, and that also listed, we just started using this site called What to Get Me. And it is pretty cool because it allows you to get things from anywhere, not just Amazon. Because some people have feelings, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And then also it allows you to do some fundraising. So there's a fundraiser on there as well.
Perfect.
And it's directly in our MailChimp that just went out.
Right. So let's talk about the events that are happening there at the Community Center for Proud Haven.
Yeah, so we have a lot going on. We have a lot going on. Like I mentioned, we're open Monday through Friday, noon to 10. And in that time, we have drop-in every day of the week. From 3 to 6 for young adults. It's 21 and under.
Okay.
And then we also have different programs that we collaborate with from like allies. They have a craft night, an art night, a video game day, that kind of thing. This weekend is Valentine's weekend. And I will just be a little vulnerable here and say that Valentine's is a bit of a sore spot for me. My mom died on Valentine's
so sorry.
Day. It's okay. I'm taking it back,
okay.
and she would be very happy because this weekend we're doing crafting and karaoke on Friday. We're doing the craft fair on Saturday from noon to 5.
Which is the day that we air, is the Saturday the 15th is the air date.
In the evening, we have a drag show. Doors are at 8, shows at 8:30. On Sunday, we have Eat Your Heart Out brunch with an all-ages art show.
Right.
And it is the food is being made by Chef Mimi of 412 Food Fetish. We're very, very excited.
Wow, that is really good.
And Sunday night, to close out the weekend, we are doing Steamy Hearts. And that's going to be a more adult event. It'll be 21 and up. There'll be live figure drawing, chill music, crafts to do, and adult art to buy.
There you go.
Yeah.
But you have also events that happen during the week, right? Like
Absolutely.
in the evening and stuff for people that want to attend?
Yeah, so in addition to the youth drop-in in the evening, every evening from 6 to 9 is 21 and up.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean that young people can't come. It just means that, you know, the services are focused on adults.
That target.
Yeah, so we essentially, when we were deciding how to formulate these programs, we wanted to make sure that the drop-in for youth was more like after school.
Right.
And they can come and they can participate in programming. They can draw. They can talk to somebody that's there if they need the caseworker. They want to talk to me. They want to talk to anybody that's there. Like, all they have to do is say, hey.
Right. Perfect.
You know, and it's been an interesting journey for me personally. You've known me for a very long time. I have always done volunteer things.
Yes.
And so being in a leadership position where I have staff is wonderful and different. Yeah, and I mean that in the most positive way. Because,
progressive way.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
is wonderful.
Yeah, because the thing is, I'm used to having to do everything.
Correct.
And so the biggest hurdle I've had is remembering that the team is there and they're fantastic.
And you've got a great team.
Yes,
Fantastic
absolutely.
team.
And very dedicated, and always on it. I'm very proud of them.
Right. And growing.
Yes.
And growing.
Yes.
which is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
So if somebody would be interested in, let's say, donating.
Sure.
And again, give the website and give the pitch, not only for volunteers, board members.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always looking for board members. This work is, it is work of the heart. It is thankless. It does not pay anything to be part of the board, but it is worth it, because every time you are doing anything with the board, you are helping impact the lives of the 500 to 700 people that we serve every month.
Wow, a month. Wow,
yeah.
wow.
Between all of the programs, the call-ins for emergency shelter, the call-ins for support around transportation, health needs, all of that stuff are utilizing resources and network. Yeah.
Right. And also your website again?
It's www.proudhaven.org.
There you go.
Yeah.
And people can check that out.
Yeah.
And if they need to get a hold of you, you're on the website.
We're on the website. You can also call the community center number, which is 412-346-1324.
Again?
We have somebody, 412-346-1324.
There we go.
And we have somebody who answers the phone noon to 10, and we're within 24 hours. If you happen to call after 10 o'clock, we do get back to you.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Lindsay, I think you're doing great work.
Thank you so much.
I know. It's so exciting to see you grow up. I mean,
gosh.
Right? It's so great. It is. And just every year you just do more and more bigger and better things.
And I am very thankful for the team of community and friends that I have around me that enable that work.
That's right. We do this together, right?
We absolutely do.
And we do it from the heart.
Yep, because we're better together.
We are better together.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on, Lindsay. Thanks so
for
much
having
again.
me. Yeah.
And you'll be back.
Yeah.
You'll be back. We'll see you out and about.
Yes, you will.
So anyway, so again, thank you, Lindsay, very much for being here. And thank you, the listeners and viewers, for tuning into QBurgh's podcast here. I'm Jeff Friedman, and stay proud, Pittsburgh.